You can be fully booked, playing 3 nights a week, doing freelance music projects on the side, and yet you can be broke. If this sentence made you uncomfortable, this video is for you. This was my story at some point of time. When I came into this country, I started to do 3 or 4 nights a week at some local clubs at whatever amount they told me was the regular budget. I was also doing a lot of ads on the side, again, at the amount that they told me. And at the end of the month, I realized I'm so overworked, so exhausted, and yet the right kind of money hasn't flown in. On paper, it looked like success, but in my bank balance, it truly felt like there was some crazy leaks happening. And I wasn't lazy, I was just inexperienced, and I was just busy in the wrong way. Busy is not the same thing as profitable, and freelancers learn this the hard way. We are all musical artists at the end of the day, and what happens is we tend to lose the business acumen and business side of things when pursuing music as a career. Now, what do you really do about it? I figured out over time that I have to go about it the reverse way. I had to figure out what is my bare minimum that I need to meet in order to sustain my rent, utilities, and a good lifestyle. Once I had that amount, I divided it by the number of weeks, basically 4, to understand how much I should be earning in a week. Then I also lined up my priorities for earning my due, whether it be freelance music gigs, whether it be voiceovers, some freelance playback gigs, or live gigs in the form of corporates, weddings, or at local clubs. I then started estimating what would be my income from each of these sources at a minimum and at a maximum, so I could actually derive the right number that was needed for my monthly costs. Now that this was done, I started evaluating my week in terms of the work that I was putting in. Now again, as a musician, I tend to normally not look at this in terms of work hours, but once I started doing this, I started realizing where my time leaks were happening, because time leaks are truly deadly as they creep into your regular schedule without you knowing it, and over time you have lost time for the bigger vision and stuck in just making basic rent. So I started figuring out how many hours I need for every single project that I do, which means when I do a freelance music project, how many hours does it take for me to give them one sample or one option based on the duration of the project. When I do a live gig, how much time does actually go in terms of traveling, the setup time, the sound check time, the performance, and coming back to home. And likewise, in freelance voiceovers, how much time does it take for me to finish a certain project? How much time does it take for me to clean up my voice afterwards? And how much time does it take for me to communicate with the client on a regular basis? Once I had all these times in, I realized that a lot of my time was going in my non-essential items. And that's how I realized I have to either specialize in the things that I enjoy doing and are also time effective, or somehow control my expenses so that I can still live comfortably without exhausting myself and having clarity of the bigger vision. As I read in this amazing book called Make Time, you need to have certain highlights of the day. Make sure that you finish your highlights no matter what, whereas the other things are non-essential. They need to be done, but this highlight is something that needs to be done. Now, if you track nothing else, track these 5 things at least. Hours worked, real hours, hours billed for, money invoiced, money received, and unpaid revision admin hours. If those numbers don't make sense together, you have to reevaluate your business model. If you want my personal checklist, I've also put in a link in the description. Being busy feels productive, but being profitable feels calm. Also, if this video made sense for you, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, because this is Music in Progress, where we bring our musical visions to life. See you next time.